So one of the more exciting things that happened to me this week was that I found my friend Carrie Schaefer's book, Between, newly released, right here on the fantasy section in chapters. It's always exciting to see a friend's book in print and really on a bookstore shelf, especially when it's a book like this one that you've been following the progress of literally for years, read early drafts of, been excited by her finding a publisher, and then at long last you get to actually read it, and it is great. Now I'll be saying a lot more about this book later. I'm going to be reviewing it both on the blog and on the vlog in the next month, but right now I just want to talk about how cool it is to have writer friends and to see their work in print. 20-some years ago in the small city of Oshawa, Ontario, Carrie was pretty much my only writer friend in the area, and we used to meet up on winter nights, much like this one, to go out for walks and have long talks about the things we were writing and the things we wanted to write. And although the book that Carrie was working on then was not this one, that was certainly an important first step on the journey for both of us. I have no patience with the image of the lonely writer toiling away in the garret, the solitary genius. I think as a writer, the most valuable thing you can ever do is surround yourself with writer friends. This used to be difficult for people who lived in isolated places or who didn't know a lot of other writers. Of course, today, through the magic of internet, you can have writer friends all over the world, and I encourage everyone to take advantage of that. It's great to have some who are nearby to you. Friends like Jennifer and Tina and the rest of the strident women that I can meet for a write-in or just for a coffee or just to talk about books with. When I look at the bookstore shelves, I like to pick out the spots where my friends' books sit. Of course, I always check in on my own books. Next to them are my Aunt Bernice's books, and on the shelf below is Jennifer's recently released graphic novel, Almost Home. And up here are Tina's two novels, This Much Is True and A Few Kinds of Wrong. And of course, you have to check to make sure your friends' books are in stock. Turn them facing outward if they're not. Bookstore workers hate that, but it's something you do for your writer friends. I also like to pick out the spot where books by my friends probably will sit or should sit someday. For example, down here in that same local interest section where you can find my books and Tina's and Jennifer's is a great spot under the S's for a fantastic piece of historical fiction by Laurie Savory. I hope I see that there someday. I also have writer friends that I personally have never met, some I may never even meet. And those friends too have spaces reserved on bookshelves where I hope to be seeing their books sometime. Here into the R's. Marilynne Robinson is one of my favorite writers, but I think there's room here for another Robinson under literary fiction. I think there's a great historical novel out there by Christy Robinson about her ancestress Mary Dyer that I'm looking forward to seeing on these shelves. Meanwhile, over here on the S's, in between Stone and Stowe, I think there's a place for Katrina Stoneoff's fantastic dark comedy East of Jesus, which I'm just dying to walk in and pick up off the bookstore shelves. Romance is a section of the bookstore I'll admit I rarely wander into, but I'll be dropping by here soon to pick up an exciting new release, His Unexpected Family by my friend Patricia Johns. Haven't seen a cover design yet, but I bet the guy is going to be able to keep his shirt on, unlike some of these fellows. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you're a writer and you don't have any friends who are writers, you really should make an effort to find some. In real life is great if you can find people in your local area. If you can't, having writer friends online is a great way of extending your community. And it's not just a thing of being able to critique each other's manuscripts and stuff, although that's really important. It's having other people who know what you're interested in and have an idea of what you're going through. People you can talk about writing with. I think that's really so important. If you do have writer friends, celebrate their successes along with your own. You know, I have an awful lot of flaws, an awful lot of pettiness, and an awful lot of terrible things about myself as a writer, but one thing I really don't have is jealousy of my friends when they succeed. At least, so far I haven't. I don't know. Maybe if one of my friends becomes the next J.K. Rowling, I'll struggle with that. I think the thing is that in writing, as in so many other areas of life, success can sometimes feel like it's a zero-sum game, but it's really not. I mean, yeah, there are practical aspects, like a friend who's a more successful writer might actually be able to provide you with contacts to, you know, an agent, a publisher, to other writers. Sometimes that practical stuff happens, sometimes it doesn't. But either way, if you have writing friends who truly love and support you and you truly love and support them, hopefully you will be happy when you see them succeed, because their great stories are getting out into the world and your great story is going to get out there too. So I love seeing my friends' books on the shelves. I hope to see a lot more of that in the future. And I'll see you next Wednesday.